to our second read this evening. And before I start, I want to give you a warning here. The visuals we are about to show you are fairly unpalatable. Just take a look at this. We have a situation where a man in Mumbai ordered a vegetarian meal online, and this is what he got. That's the man, by the way, and this is what he got. He got a big rat, apparently, floating under his curry. By the time he spotted it, it was too late. There is the rat. He fell sick. He had to be hospitalized. Now, he hadn't ordered this meal from a shady restaurant. He had ordered it from a place you probably have eaten at, Barbeque Nation's Worli outlet. It was not a case of him consuming adulterated or poor quality food. It was much, much worse. Has to be right if you find a rat in your dal makhani. The man on your screens is 35-year-old Rajeev Shukla. He says he's a pure vegetarian, so the damage was way beyond just food poisoning. Rajeev, through a friend, sent a series of emails to Barbeque Nation between January 8th and 12th, narrating the horror he had to go through. But the prominent food chain refused to give him any kind of support. They merely apologized to him for the inconvenience he might have faced and assured that his concerns will be addressed. This, by the way, looks typically like an auto-generated response, which we regularly get from service providers. They're non-specific, they're impersonal, and zero on accountability. Rajeev also approached the cops, who took his statement, but reportedly, he has refused to file an FIR, saying he needs to approach the Food and Drug Administration. He will be joining us in just a bit. Today, ladies and gentlemen, Barbeque Nation sent a formal response to the 35-year-old lawyer, informing him that several checks were conducted by them based on his allegation, but the restaurant found that there were no lapses from its end. Basically, the conglomerate thrashed Rajeev Shukla's claim. Let me go straight across to Rajeev Shukla, who is joining us on the broadcast. Rajeev ji, ये बताइए, Barbeque Nation तो साफ-साफ कह रहा है कि आप झूठ बोल रहे हैं.
क्या पता वही सही है, फिर अगर ऐसी बात है तो मैं खुद ही इतना पागल था कि चूहा लाया, चूहा उसमें दाल में डाला, उसको खाया, and then got admitted and took all those injection and traumatic experience of that. In those 80 hours in the ward, I witnessed casualties of more than 9 to 10. What I went through, I cannot explain in the words. And after all this, I am receiving a response like this. I don't know where to live.
So, Rajeev ji, हुआ क्या था? Tell me, this is you. Just tell me what had happened. This was an online order that you made, and then it gets delivered to you. What happens after that?
Yeah. I ordered the food on 8th, around 9 or something, and then it got received. And when I opened it, I started eating. Come again? I started eating it, but when I discovered that the food is contaminated and it has a rat and the gulab jamun bucket has some insects. So I just reached out to the first I puked, then I reached out to the customer care number. I told them the entire scenario. They provided ki just email the feedback support system. So I made a video of it. I clicked the picture, I sent to them. And then after that, my health started deteriorating later on. I asked some help from the hotel where I got stayed. Unfortunately, they don't have any medical support system there. So I just spent the whole night in pain. I vomited a couple of times. And in the morning, the hotel staff assisted me with a taxi. And I landed to this Nair hospital, which is very much near to that thing.
Okay.
So, where my treatment got started.
What happens when you go to the police?
I got admitted later on.
What happened when you went to the police?
I didn't directly go to the police. It was the hospital who intimidated the police. The police came to the hospital. When I was there in the hospital itself, they took my statement and they asked them, when you get discharged, you come to us. So that particular day when I got discharged in the later after the second part of the 12th of January, the concerned IO who was there that time, she called and she said, come to the Nagpada police station. I went to Nagpara police station. Then there they asked us, take this food to the FDA, Food and Drug, which is located in Bandra. I started approaching towards Bandra. When I went there, it was already closed. Then I waited because Saturday, Sunday, on 12th it was Friday, 13th, 14th it was Saturday, Sunday and the office was closed. I waited for Monday. On Monday, I again spent the whole day in traveling, talking to administration of Food and Drug, FSSI and police station. I was there in police station 11:30 midnight on Monday itself. They said that they are going to register FIR, then they refused. Then there is no FIR can be registered. And on top of that, when I asked them what the other person who is, did they approach you, what they said? They said they are saying that you are defaming or something. What the purpose? I didn't ask them to for anything, but this thing is intolerable. Food is for to live. You cannot just keep for the purpose of making money. You just keep spreading the toxicity everywhere. Me being some literate one, if approaching the authorities and becoming some pendulum from one department to another department,
so essentially,
what will be those the literate ones? And
from
this
the
India has a population of 150 crore.
Okay. And many urban Indians are now ordering in from restaurants.
No,
and this is not any sidey restaurant, as I said. This is Barbeque Nation. No, you're not speaking anything wrong. I support you.
For that matter, ma'am, it is anything.
Mr. Shukla, Barbeque Nation.
On top of that,
but seems to be okay.
Ma'am, what my point is.
On top of that, what?
What my point is, instead of saying all these things, Barbeque Nation should thank me and took a cognizance of it that there is some error of hygiene and negligence which can cause some casualties and should rectify them, because there is so much outlets of them in the entire country and there is so much dependence of customers to them for food.
Okay.
And what happened if
Rajeev
very
Shukla,
fortunate enough that I am recovering day by day, what happens, some people die with the food.
Okay, I get your point, and I thank you for joining us and telling us your story. Barbeque Nation, of course, telling the police this is a ploy for you to defame them. But why would an ordinary citizen want to defame a restaurant is another question altogether. Thank you, Mr. Shukla, for joining us. Dilip Cherian, founder Perfect Relations, thank you very much. Shailesh Gandhi is a former CIC joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Cherian, any comments to offer? Here is a restaurant. Look, again, the claims that Mr. Shukla is making are subject to an investigation. The police is not making the investigation. He has the pictures, and Barbeque Nation is saying he's simply here to defame us. Point is, why would an ordinary citizen want to defame Barbeque Nation? That is one point. And instead of apologizing to the consumer, you are telling him we did all the checks, but we found nothing wrong.
Shreya, just to give you context, many years ago, I've run a restaurant. I'm a constant consumer at many restaurants. And I recognize also from my experience of handling crisis with food chains, bottled drinks people, etc. What Mr. Shukla has faced is either a completely rarest of rare cases, and the right approach by Barbeque Nation would have been to take cognizance of it, get details, and try and make sure that they get to the bottom of what went wrong if something was wrong. On the other hand, there is no escaping from the fact that every now and then you hear of major chains having issues of this kind. If you Google and see, rat, lizard found in food, etc., there are occasions on multiple brands where this has been seen to happen. The companies will use different tactics to defend themselves. And in some cases, it is proven to be right. In others, it is proven to be false. So let's be very clear. In these matters, you need two kinds of investigation. And the Food and Drug Administration should be the primary body looking at this, and they should have acted much faster. What use is it to try and investigate this 10 days after the event or even 4 days after the event? You can't get very much. Similarly, I don't think that the police really have the equipment in terms of either bandwidth or skill to be able to look at a food-related violation. You know, that is why this country has a bunch of specialist organizations. We need to give them the space, and they need to be more proactive and get deep into these things, because as a country, we have masses of people eating out, and this could be a problem that could affect far more people if it is indeed a lapse by the company.
Dilip Cherian, you said this is probably what happened to Mr. Shukla is the rarest, is possibly a rarest of rare case. But the fact is, I'm quoting the FDA Joint Commissioner here and the FDA Joint Commissioner of Maharashtra saying that dirty kitchens, stale food and expired items and ants and cockroaches are very common issues in eateries, Mr. Gandhi. So why should we not blame the consumer? The consumer had no reason to lie. What gripe will he have with Barbeque Nation? Why will he lie?
I think the first thing has to be that the customer is always right. That's the basic lesson that is taught to anybody who's dealing with people and customers directly, which does not seem to have happened here. In my opinion, Barbeque Nation, the moment it got the complaint, should have said, we'll do a check of the entire premises, and here's the certificate saying that this is very clean, not clean, whatever it is. FDA should have acted immediately. Police should have acted immediately. This is certainly a criminal offense. And this is a first information report should have been filed, which apparently from Mr. Shukla's talk does not appear to have been filed, which is not as per the law. The law says if a crime is reported, it must be put down. And then you may say no crime occurred. Even if a murder has occurred and somebody says murder has occurred, the first police does not have to go and find the body. It must put down in a FIR saying this is the report I got from so-and-so. And then they say, okay, nobody died. Sorry, it was a false complaint, which is not happening. The customer is wrong. The customer must go everywhere. That means you are not interested in correcting the system. And this is horrible. It's a horrible way to treat a customer. First thing, as I said, is do due diligence, which apparently hasn't happened. It does not look as if the restaurant did anything, the police did anything, or the FDA has done anything. They should have inspected the premises thoroughly. Because if cockroaches and rats are there, they're likely...
But the point is, correct. If you had inspected the premises, you would probably have found out that there is a problem with their kitchen. Also, it doesn't help if you straight away go on the offensive. You may think that you can intimidate a customer and you can avoid a lawsuit. But going on the offensive simply doesn't help. Simply doesn't help, because what has happened to one customer will very well happen to a second customer and the third customer if you don't clean up your act. I think that is the big lesson that big eateries and food chains need to take away from what we are seeing on our screens. Dilip Cherian, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much. This was a quick chat. Shailesh Gandhi, thank you very much for joining us as well. I'm slipping into a quick break on the show. There's Rahul Gandhi coming up on the other side. Do stay with us.